Hello. Okay, so I promised myself I was going to do a video for anybody who pre-quarantine, pre-COVID was thinking about being a massage therapist, and then this happened and they had a chance to kind of think and are still trying to mull over whether they want to be a massage therapist. So I have compiled 10 of my pros and 10 of my cons for being a massage therapist. I got licensed in like 2011. I think I went to school 2010, got licensed in 2011. I went to Cortiva, which was formerly the Pennsylvania Muscle Institute or something. So they kept all the teachers and it was like really good. The teachers were great. But so I did it for a while. I did it in Philadelphia, I did it in Florida, but I want to stop. I have kind of stopped. So I wanted to do a video just to like give somebody a heads up that maybe is thinking about getting into that career before they invest. So I'm going to just read my list of pros, and then if you want to listen to the little explanation about them, then feel free to. So 10 pros would be: 1 is money, 2 is flexibility, 3 is rewarding, 4 is spin-off careers, 5 is the people you meet, 6 is the knowledge that you get, 7 is the low daily expense, 8 is movement and problem solving, exercising your brain and your body, 9 is body mods and tattoos, 10 is training. Training is pretty short, relatively short, and you make your money back fast. 11 is, I do a bonus. The bonus is spiritual experiences. So if you just want to hear the list, you can stop, and I'll have a little thing at the bottom that says the list of 10 cons. But if you want me to break them down a little bit, number 1, money. You can make a lot of money. You really can. Like the first year that I massaged, I was like young and I was like really about it, and I didn't care if I did like 7 or 8 massages a day, and like not 8, maybe like 6, 7 a day, and like just like I just worked the weekend or like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I had a nice commission and like I was good. I was set, you know. It was nice. You always have money in your pocket because you get tips, and a lot of times they're cash. So like they're definitely, you can get spoiled as for time for money. Like, you know, you don't make necessarily a crazy amount that somebody who isn't working a regular full-time job is making, but you're working like half the time, you know what I mean? So you know, when you can pull in a $900 check, you know, bi-weekly or something, or like a $900 check and then like $200 in tips or something, and you worked 2 days a week, or you know what I mean, like 3 days a week, it's like, okay, like I can get used to this. What else? And that's just being lazy. Like I could have hustled and like worked more days a week and I would have been like really bringing in some money, but I was like, why kill myself when I can live off of, you know, it's just me. 2 is flexibility. So oftentimes, like I said, I just work the weekends. You can legit just be like, I only have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Now, when you first start off and you don't have it, like, you don't have like a resume of a bunch of places you worked, it's a little harder. You kind of have to, like, depending on where you work to, like, and what they need, they might have a specific like shift that they need, or shifts that they or have less therapists, but for the most part, like, you can kind of like work with people and just be like, this is what I got, you know, and if they really want you, then they'll work around it. They'll maybe see if somebody else can move. Like, it's flexibility in it, and then you usually can change. Like if something happens and I'm like, all right, that doesn't work, like now can I just work Thursday and Saturday, you know? It's you get spoiled with that. Rewarding. 3, it like, not to be like a hippie, but like there's really nothing, like, it just feels so good to make somebody feel better, and like you really just want to make people feel better. Like when it breaks down to it, like you want money and like, you know, we bitch and complain, but like it feels so good to like have somebody come in that's in pain, that's miserable because they're in pain, and you help them feel better. Or you have a long-term client that had an issue and then like they get better, and you're just like, you know, it's like you want the money, but it's so much more, it's so rewarding to have them not have to come to you no more, except for like, you know, once in a while, but like for pleasure, you know, that's like the greatest thing. 4, spin-off careers. I feel like you can do so much with massage. Like you can go into like more like a spiritual type thing, like doing like Reiki and stuff, or you could go into like PT, like physical therapy. If you like get some more schooling, you could go into like just anything with like wellness and like health and like fitness, and like you really can kind of like, if you say I was a massage therapist, and like the next track that you go, as long as it's along those lines, like it's just, it really does feel like there's a lot you can do after. The people you meet, there's a specific type of person that I think becomes a massage therapist, and especially people who have been a therapist for a while. I feel like there's like this first 3 years where you have therapists and they're still new to it, and like they did it for whatever reason, but once you get past that, once you're like you're meeting people who've been doing it for like 5 years plus, 20 years all together, like they're just cool people. Like they're very particular about things at times, and like, you know, they have their ways and their personalities are strong a lot of times, but like it's cool. Like they're you have that one thing in common, that you basically decided to dedicate your life to like making people feel better, and like you have that healing spirit like in you, and like I sound like such a hippie. Anyway, whatever, but like it's cool. 6 is what you learn. So I never, when I was in massage school, like, you know, it was anatomy and kinesiology and pathology and all this stuff that I thought was extremely important, that I felt like we should know without having to go to massage school. Like, it's not, you should know, we walk around with this body and we like don't know how it works. We don't know the difference between diabetes 1, diabetes 2. Like we don't, like these, all these things, you know, we don't really understand what like cancer is. We don't, all these things that plague us in our families and our lives and our, you know, we don't understand our endocrine system. We just, so much stuff. Our body is so complicated, but like, you know, works so seamlessly sometimes, that like it's so amazing when you like start to break down these systems and understand all that like happens even on like a very like microscopic like level, and then like turn into this like big like orchestrated, you know, event that allows you to burp or sneeze, or, you know what I mean, go to the bathroom or whatever. Like it's just, it's, if you're into that, like, I mean, I was into it. If you're into that, then it's kind of exciting. 7 was low daily expense. So I've worked in New York, like doing like other jobs. I've had like, you know, office jobs and stuff like that. And I spent money. Like I would go to work and I would spend money. I feel like for some reason I don't spend money doing massage. Like as long I showed up with my hands and I was just kind of like, let's go. Like you could buy stuff, like extra stuff if you wanted. Most of the time, if you work for a spa, unless you're working for yourself, but if you work at a spa, like they provide everything. And I honestly also feel like if you just have your shift where it's like you are booked in your shift, you don't really eat, because it's like, who wants, you work from your core. And like for me personally, I hate having like a full stomach, and I'm trying to like work from my core. So you don't even really eat. I feel like when I worked in New York, I would go and spend like $30 on lunch. I'd be like, I'm gonna sit at this desk and eat, you know. Anyway, 8 is movement and problem solving. So that's another thing, a part of like, you know, constantly of not having to like be sitting at a desk and eating food. Like you're like moving all the time, you know, and you're thinking all the time, and you're thinking, and you're light on your feet, you know. Like a lot of times in the beginning, you'll be working somewhere and it'll have like 5, 10, 15-minute turnover time. So it's like you need to wash your hands, flip the room, come back to the room, set it up, ready, read the form. I can't even think of the form name because I haven't done it in so long. Read their form, their intake form. You know, maybe get a glass of water, maybe have a tinkle real quick, like whatever, and like, you know, then wash your hands again. Like you just, it's just like so much stuff that like you do, and you really washing your hands. So it's like you need to be like up to the elbow, like, you know, you need to be like this if you're working at a place that's busy. So you're constantly moving, and then you're constantly thinking and using your brain, because, you know, you'll get somebody, you'll look at their intake form, they tell you a bunch of stuff that's, you know, going on with them, and then you legit have until you leave the room, if they're a new person, or even if they're not new, but you have like until you leave the room till you like wash your hands or do whatever, or get hot towels or whatever, and come back to figure out a game plan, kinda. Like granted, you gonna go in there and like examine their gait more, and like, you know, do whatever, and like kind of go like change it as you go, but you kind of make a decision, like, I'm gonna do heat, I'm gonna do cold, I'm gonna do a little bit of lymphatic drainage, I'm gonna do a little bit of myofascial release on this left hip. I was like, you think like so fast of what you want to do, you know. When I went to school, they called it a toolbox. Like, you have a toolbox of all the skills that you like know and all the like techniques that you know how to use, and then you just like in like 5 minutes have to kind of be like, I'm gonna pull this out the toolbox and see if it works and see how their body responds. And then sometimes you gotta switch it up because their body not responding to it. So, or for whatever reason they forget to tell you something, which happens, and then they tell you something when they're on the table and you can't do what you plan to do. So it keeps you on your toes. 9, for me personally, as you can see, I have tattoos. I used to have my face kind of pierced up. I never got turned down for a job, like, because of that. Like, unless it was like a really, I worked at a really fancy spot a couple times where like whatever, but I just covered it. I just wore like a long sleeve thing under my schmuck thing or whatever, so it covered my like my arm. It really wasn't it. They don't care. You can be tatted up, long as you're a good therapist. If you have that reputation, or if you've been at a couple reputable places, they'll let that slide. 10, training, short, making money. So like I trained for like a year. My program was like a year, and like I forget, it was like $10,000 or something like that. I'm kind of assuming that because it was 2010. And you make that money back. You make it back. Like I went to college and got my bachelor's, and I wish I could say that. I wish I could say that I made my money back. I did not. I'm still paying it with interest and not, you know what I mean? Like, did not make that money back. So, yeah, if you play smart and like don't go crazy and like, you know, don't kill your body, you can have like a really long career. So those are the pros. And I'm actually, this is like 12 minutes, so I'm gonna actually cut it off and then do the cons. Okay? All right. Hopefully this is helpful. If you have any questions, put them in the comments, and I will see you at the 10 cons. Happy massaging!